Welcome to Comrade Media's cultural program in Pursuit of Roots. During the last few episodes, we are dealing with certain aspects of the culture of ancient Kerala. We dealt with the dress, ornaments, food habits. And now we are going to have the 27th episode. Ancestral agricultural methods and tools. Sir,
Yes.
how our ancients started agriculture? Culture itself means a style of life. And was our ancient Kerala, our land, suitable for cultivation in those days?
Yes, you're right. Agriculture is a culture that is reflective of one's life pattern.
A style of life.
Ancient society was in fact agricultural by nature, by texture. It was agricultural. Most of the world societies in a civilized world, after the hunter-gatherer stage, after the nomadic stage, the settled communities which developed civilization were all agricultural by nature. So we in Kerala and Tamil Nadu are descendants of a rich agricultural background.
Okay.
So we had agriculture, and you wanted to know the basis of it. What was it that you wanted to?
Was our land suitable for?
Yes, very much. Land of Chera, Chola and Pandya, which are collectively known as Tamilagam, was very fertile. That land was blessed with plenty of rivers and lakes and lagoons, which brought the rich, fertile, soil into the fields. So practically, there was cultivable land, mostly in the present day Tamil Nadu part. And few patches of leveled land suitable for cultivation in Marudam, that is the riverside land pattern.
What land?
Wetland. So wetland, Kerala part was predominantly wetland and the adjoining areas suitable for cultivation, because wetland was very fertile land. From the high hills of Kurinji and Marudam, the fertile soil and fertile leaves and rotten things and residue would come and fill the Marudam with a very, very rich soil, ideal for cultivation. And of course, in beyond Marudam, Nathal was not very much cultivable. It was the fishing and harbors and salt making was the Nathal, narrow stretch of land, long but narrow stretch of land called Nathal, was not cultivable in fact, because just sand and not exactly rich soil. Of course, coconut trees would be grown there, but beyond that, nothing much. So Kerala's land, even Tamil Nadu land, Tamil Nadu, Kaveri, Delta, very rich. Kerala, the Periyar, that's the Churniyar Delta, was very rich. Pamba, River Barris Delta was very rich in cultivation, for cultivation. Yes, certainly, land was good.
Paddy cultivation was main in wetland areas.
Wetland is ideally suited for cultivation of rice. We call it paddy. Paddy originally was not a cultivable item. It was the seeds were grown in forests, and the early Sankham period, people would go to forest, collect the seeds and sort it. There are hundreds of varieties of rice. They sort it, and most productive varieties which are suitable for consumption and suitable for farming are earmarked, separated, gathered and brought to Marudam for cultivation on paddy fields. So that is how the paddy cultivation originally came. It was originally wild growth.
So the paddy fields, what about the paddy fields? We know that the fields with ridges and the square areas.
Preparing paddy field itself is
the pre-arrangement of paddy cultivation.
Very much laborious, labor-intensive activity, which was actually performed by the family.
Not paid laborers.
Not paid laborers. Those days, if we are talking about the Sangham period, there was nothing called agricultural laborers. Of course, everybody is a laborer in one form or the other. Family, actually, cultivation of farming was a family vocation. Father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, uncles, aunties, children, grandchildren, cousins all gathered together to form a work group, a work collective, which is called Killa. Killa,
tilling
tilling the land, ploughing the land and reaping the land. Killa was involved with cultivation. Blood relative, the catchword is kinship, blood relationship was the basis of Killa.
Were they land owners also?
They were land owning communities. Ujava community. Normally ploughing. Ujaga means to plough. They were plowers of land that is cultivated. They are the original growers of paddy, Ujava community.
What are the systematic arrangements of this?
Okay, you said it's systematic. It was systematic. Paddy grows it gets mature in 3 months. There are varieties which get mature in 3 months. Some varieties take 4 months, 5 months. It differs. Depending on the variety. Once the cultivation, one round of cultivation is over, the land is used for middle cultivation.
Mid-term
cultivation. Another item, another crop. Sometimes, millets and pulses, all other varieties are used because the season changes. The wetland becomes the dryland at that time. So it is not suitable for wetland paddy cultivation anymore. They may use, it all depends on weather, rainy season, rain needs to be brought. Even when there is no rain, the fields have to be set to ensure that when paddy is cultivated, there should be plenty of supply of water. So the first step is to ensure that the canals bring water. If the canals are not properly set, they dig up, they dig and make new canals or stretch the canals or clean up the canals to ensure smooth flow of water from the neighboring river or lake. That is the first stage. Then they bring water into the dry paddy field. After a dry season, paddy field becomes very dry. And the land becomes not muddy, but lumps of mud. And that lumps of mud need to be broken. So water brought through the canals
and softened.
It will soften the mud lumps and make it suitable for cultivation, paddy cultivation. So that's the first step. But before that, one has to ensure that water doesn't flow out of the ridges. So the ridges, we call it Varamba
ridges.
The ridges, the boundaries of square paddy fields need to be reinforced So proper reinforcement using mud taken from the paddy field
itself.
Fix it. They fix it. And then it is ready.
That the arrangements are starting.
Yeah. Then the arrangement starts.
The ploughing done by manual ploughing or animals also used.
Yes, ploughing is a very scientific method of preparation of the land for paddy cultivation. Ploughing involved the use of koru. That is the plough. Plough is of a variety of kinds. Made of originally made of wood, but the later Sankham period we see the use of iron, hard metal. Wooden plough may not last. It is not rugged enough. Therefore, hard metal called iron, which was in use by then, by 1st, 2nd, 3rd century, iron was available in plenty. We never had much of an iron, so iron had to be brought from outside. So iron plough used, and they sometimes use by the person would plough. One person being assisted by two more people would pierce the land with the tip of the plough, which is a sharp object, and apply some pressure and plough. Move it forward in one direction and go round and round and round until the entire field is adequately mixed so that the land becomes softens, the water gets absorbed into the mud lump, so that everything becomes a gooey substance. Mud. That is the thing. And mud and water and is ready. Field is ready. And sometimes cattle is used.
Buffaloes and
bullocks used.
With a yoke.
2 buffaloes and a yoke fixed, and the yoke is the plough. Yoke becomes the plough. The Western world, they call it yoke. Under the yoke. That's the phrase, it's the usage. So this is plough here. The ploughing of the land using the cattle and bullock.
Spades of some varieties are also used for making this ridge.
Spades of a variety of kinds. The broader one and the narrow one, mostly made of iron. Iron spades are used to move the soil, move the land, and to get the ridges onto shape. Require that. That's an implement, agricultural implement.
For patching up the leaking.
So patching up the leak and the bund creation of dams, check dams and bunds and all that.
Another tool is something like a wheel for splashing water to field. That is the ancient time of irrigation.
Oh yes, very much an ancient time of the ancient practice. Water needs to be lifted to the higher plane of the field from the lower part. Actually, the streams may be flowing a little lower, and from the stream the water needs to be taken to the higher plane of the field, paddy field.
That is also manual labor.
That is manual labor. A woman would sit on a pedestal, a higher pedestal, and wheel would be rotating, and they will be pushing it down with the leg, with both the legs applying pressure, and it goes down and down and down and down, so that water gets lifted and lifted and lifted, and it goes into
splashed
and diverted to the upper level. Gets elevated actually.
What are the items our ancestors cultivated apart from rice?
Rice, orishi. Actually, rice is called arishi.
That is the etymology of rice.
Etymology of rice. Arishi or rice came from Hebrew and Greek and Latin root called oris is rice.
Oris,
arishi. In Tamil it became arishi. Now it has become ari in Malayalam. Okay, the rice, that is the etymology of rice. And of course, rice is oriental by nature. Rice never grows in the West.
Before cooking also we use rice, and after cooking also meals rice.
Yeah, rice all the time. Malayali staple food, Tamilian staple food has always been rice. All these years, there is no shift in the pattern of the use of rice. They may be using new kinds of dishes, but rice remains same.
The same.
And more or less, the method of cultivation also remains roughly same. Until late 20th century, we could see, there are places where we could see cattle and men plowing. Not exactly tractors.
That is a recent,
very recent addition to the mechanized farming.
Mechanized.
So farming was not mechanized, and even fertilizers were not what
fertilizers we use.
Only organic fertilizers. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Tamilagam was known for the use of only organic. Ancient world, only organic. Only organic fertilizers were there. Here, we had plenty of foliage, leaves.
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 The decayed leaves.
Decayed leaves are used as manure, leaf fertilizer. And then
green manure also.
Green manure. Then, of course, the cow dung.
And ashes.
Ashes and cow dung certainly form bulk of the rich component in the
fertilizers. No chemicals used.
No chemicals used. The rice manufactured or made those days were very healthy. Quality rice. Punnelle, Kulanelle, Varinelle, all varieties. Sankham literature gives a very good idea about the kind of rice grown there. Basically 3 varieties. Of course, there are sub varieties. One is Ven Nelle. Nelle means rice with its covering also, husk. That is Nelle. Ven Nelle, white rice.
White rice.
And then the red rice, that is Chen Nelle.
Chen
Nelle means red rice. And the Kula Nelle. Kula Nelle is a via media. Kula Nelle. So these are the 3 basic varieties. And there are sub varieties as well.
Plenty of
varieties. By Middle Ages, cultivation became very organized. Temple related land was available in plenty, where organized farming by a labor community that started. That is, this land is called Pulam. Wet leveled land is called Pulam. In Pulam, a group of laborers, skilled laborers, plowing the land and tilling the land and reaping the crop, they are called Pulayas. That is how a community called Pulaya was identified, like a farming labor community. Earlier, it was all segments of the population come together to farm. It was Killa. The Killa system came to an end, and the bonded labor and the bread labor and forced labor and paid labor all came. Mostly labor was not paid, food was provided. Pulayas were given after cultivation, after making use of their hard energy. They are paid a certain portion of the crop. That was the payment later
about the tools, like a reaping tool, a sickle.
Sickle, we call it Ariwal. Sickle for reaping the already already
even now we are using.
Even now we are using.
And leveling equipment.
Leveling equipment called Maram. Maram is wood. Maramadi. That is to level the land. To level up the land before cultivation. Maramadi. It has become a festival also. It has become a festival also. After the cultivation is over, after the reaping is over, they enjoy by using Maramadi, 2 blocks and leveled wood, and they would be running. As it's a competition item, it's a cultural item, festivities, especially in Kerala part. Even now in Anandapalli, in the Central Travancore region, in Pathanamthitta district, Maramadi Mahotsavam is held every year.
Apart from this Maram, the plow and main tools, metallic tools, were made where?
They are made by Kollan. Kollan is the blacksmith. Kollan has an ala. Ala is the workplace of
and anvil.
anvil will be there as a platform where the
little
little furnace that could provide the heat. And they blow it hot and blow it cold. That is how the implements are given shape. The axe and that hard knife to cut.
So something like an idiom. It is on the anvil.
On the anvil. It is
my
on
next
the
novel is on the anvil.
Yeah,
my
on
next
the-
cinema is on the anvil.
It is in the pipeline, on the anvil, around
the anvil.
idioms. Yes, yes,
An
yes,
idiom
yes.
also.
It's coming up. It's queuing up on the anvil.
Apart from rice, which were the items cultivated in not dryland also?
Yeah, dryland also, because we were all this time we were focusing on the wetland cultivation.
Okay.
Now comes the dryland cultivation of millet.
Millet of various kinds.
Various kinds, of millet used, and gram used.
Gram, black gram.
Black gram, we call it urun. Black gram used, and millet, cocktail millet, that is called thinna. In ancient Tamil. Thinna was a very popular variety. Thinna, and also ragi, which is called finger millet.
Okay.
That is the ragi. We call it panyapulle. It is a kind of grass or panyapulle.
What about that's horse gram?
Horse gram, that is the mudra.
It is a horse favorite
Horse
item.
gram. Mudra for kudra.
Mudra for kudra. Okay.
Mudra is the eatable gram for kudra, the horse.
And several varieties of peas.
Yeah, several varieties of local peas items.
Chickpeas.
Chickpeas is there. That is very much kadala.
Kadala.
Kadala, chickpeas. And even other kinds of peas. The green peas, the variety.
Another
which is a vegetable also, which can be used as a seed and which can be used as vegetable also.
Sesame also used to be
Sesame is also used, very much sesame is used. Mustard is used for fried items and also for cooked items, and fried mustard as used as seasoning.
From mustard and this chickpeas, we can get oil also.
Yeah, you can extracting oil from mustard. Mustard oil is extracted.
Also from this chickpeas.
Chickpeas also oil is
oil.
Yell and ney is enna. Enna is oil. Yell ney is enna. That is how the etymology works.
About some details about the agriculture, and in the next episode you will be giving the details of weights and measurements.
Yeah, we will come to the weights and measurements and how these agriculture produce are measured and weighed and counted and all this. So that is a must to get a comprehensive feel of the life.
Thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you.